the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. From suffering to strength, our scars make us strong. One of her advocacy and she's the author of the book. Wow, Strength Scars. No other than Miss Avonley Lightstone. Welcome to Book 11, Miss Avonley. And can you please introduce more about yourself?
Thank you, Daniel. It's a pleasure being here. My name is Avonley Lightstone. I am the author of Strength of Scars. And at just 3 years old, I tried to save my mom from a house fire while my dad was drunk and passed out, unresponsive. So I just felt like I needed to do what any child that received love would do is you hear a scream, you go and grab and nurture that one person that's screaming. And that's exactly what I had done. I went over and hugged my mom and just helped try to make the pain of whatever she was suffering to go away. She was trying to push me away as hard as she could, but she, she she wasn't able to. I just hugged her even tighter, and soon the fire just engulfed in me. And sadly, she didn't survive. And soon after, my father put me up for adoption, and that's where I entered into a home where I faced years of physical, mental, and um, emotional abuse.
Miss Avonley Limestone, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world through your strength scars. How would you describe resilience after writing this book? Has your definition changed?
I would say resilience is empowerment. It gives you the strength to rise from whatever trauma that you endured, and it's it's really about the mindset. And yes, over the years, as I grow up and work on a lot of like self healing, self development, I would say that I'm constantly learning and bettering myself and adapting new views just to help strengthen my own self and to be a better person and not allowing something like trauma to dictate what I am and who I should be, and allowing abuse to just torment um, my life. And so, yes, I would say resilient is being able to stand up and be the bigger person and be able to say, enough is enough. I'm moving on, and I can do so by forgiveness.
Definitely. And Miss Avonley, why do you choose the metaphor of scars to represent strength rather than wounds?
So, scars, I think, is just a really good wording because one of us, have endured scars in one form or another, whether it's physical or emotional. There's scars behind it, and scars represent survival, that we have survived whatever damage that we have endured. So, a lot of people that um, I like to use the example of someone that gets attacked by a shark, and a lot of people are in awe by just the shark bite and the scarring, and they're just amazed about, hey, you endured such an intense experience. That's amazing. You're powerful. But a lot of times And as well as good as that is, a lot of times the scars can be emotional and just as much impactful when a person overcomes their traumatic situation and an emotional situation. And that could be so much empowering to other people that are struggling. So, yes, scars can be very much empowering to both individuals that are scarred emotionally or physically, and applies to anyone.
Truly, truly empowering, Miss Avonley. And what you write about pain as a teacher, what is most important lesson it taught you?
Pain, pain. The greatest lessons that it probably taught me is that it's it's just temporary. Like
Yes,
temporarily, and that in the moment we, there's moments where it could mean different things. When we're emotionally caught up in a moment of when the pain is actually happening, then we interpret it differently from maybe even like a few days that has passed to a month or even a year. We look at it, the experience in a different way. And so either pain can end up becoming something that can be a benefit and uplift us and strengthen us and make us better, or it could go the other direction where it could make us more bitter, full of hatred. you know the choice becomes yours and how you decide to handle it.
definitely. How you decide, certainly. And Miss Avonley, how do you respond to people who say everything happened or everything happens for a reason when discussing trauma?
So that one is a very sensitive question, because there's a lot of people that are going through a traumatic situation where it's alarming and it's hurtful, and you want to give them the best answer. But I really do feel that we do go through experiences for a reason, whether it is for eventually helping out there. I'll use myself as an example. um, I never understood why I was the one that God decides to keep me alive instead of my mom, where my mom had a larger family in India to take care of, and she was taken away. And so I was adopted into this family where it was an abusive situation, and I just didn't understand why God could save me from this accident, and I lost my entire family and go into a family where my mother, adopted mother, was abusive. And I couldn't grasp the idea, like, what was the purpose behind all this? And though one thing that I've learned is, and I'm very grateful, is I grew up in a religious church religion, and where I knew God, and God was really there to protect me. I was able to pray to Him, and I think that was the sole reason I was able to have like a better attitude and mindset, and being able to just carry myself in a good way. And so as I'm growing up, I realized that the what I've gone through was like, now I'm to that point where I've learned how to forgive, and I look back in my life and see, oh my gosh, you know what, maybe I really did need to go through that. Even in that moment I might have not felt like it was necessary, but now I understand why I had to go through this. I wrote this book because I noticed that there is so many people that are in an abusive situation that are suffering in silent, whether they're young kids, whether they're teenagers, adults, and it's not only, it's both gender, both women and men. And a lot of times, the abusive people, they don't they don't show that they're being abused. they just put a smile on their face and just carry on with their days at living in a silent moment. And so now here I am. I wrote this book and reaching out to audience, letting them know like, hey, you can overcome your scars. You can use your um, trials into something that's strengthful, something that can be impactful. And it's just the mindset and turning. So now I look back and see, hey, I understand why there was a purpose in what I went through. So in the moment, you might not know what the reasoning is, and you might not feel like it was necessary, but you might not have the answers at the time. But just give it time, give it like time to marinate in the moments that you are willing to work on yourself. And as you're working on yourself, you'll find out why you were placed in that situation. And you'll start looking at it as more of a gratitude.
Definitely gratitude. Stop complaining, people, and count your blessing. What's the biggest misconception about healing that you hope your book correct?
Um, I would say one of the big misconception is that a lot of times abuse doesn't always look like it's a like it doesn't look like a family is okay. Let me rephrase that. Just because a family is picture perfect from the outside doesn't mean it's safe behind closed doors. So we just we just can't assume the abuse isn't happening just because you don't see the scars or bruises on someone or an individual. Because a lot of times it's emotional impact, and I think it's we have to like this is why it's really important you treat everyone with kindness because we actually don't know what people are going through. In my situation, I was silent. I hid my problems, and no one really realized that there was abuse that was happening because I carried myself like there wasn't any abuse. And so, what I'm saying is be kind to anybody you come across because you never know what they're going through. You never know what they're dealing with. And just being kind will help them like overcome just a little bit of that day.
Miss Avonlea, let's talk about resilience in practice. What's one day practice that has helped you to build resilience over time?
I would say one of the things that helped me is having the faith in God and your mindset. When you know that God exists, and even if you don't believe in God, the one thing I would tell you is just imagine that there is something bigger in the world. There's something more to this life, and that just act as if those things will help you. So just imagine, like, I believe in God, and that's what helped me. And I believe, and I just carried myself in the best way that was pleasing to God. And I think as I was working on my relationship and development with God, and as it grew, He was helping me with my mindset. I didn't have I lived in a small town, and back in the day, there wasn't like the internet wasn't so vamped, so we didn't have like easy access to finding the help that we need. Like now, we have a lot of access. It's easy to get on the internet. It's easy to find the help that you need. There's so many different avenues. So what I would say is have your mindset be strong and just keep fighting and just lean on something bigger because you can't take it all on yourself. And we know that God carried everything for us at one point on the cross. And so he had told us, if you have any sort of like burden that's too heavy, give it to him. So just give God a chance, give him to him, and then handle the small things that you can handle, and then work with him.
Definitely. How can someone start reframing their scars as strength when they still feel like open wounds?
So that is going to take small steps. Okay, so I came up with this system called the I shed system method. And what that is the I stands for like individual confidence and independence. And being independent requires confidence. And as you look at the situation that you're going through, you're going to try to execute the problem. You're going to analyze it. You're going to look at this problem and see what you can do to um, heal from it or overcome it. And that's when the shedding happens. And the S stands is the acronym for survival. You survived the pain. H is for hope. Hope gives you need hope. Everyone needs hope in order to achieve something, to overcome something. What is the end goal you want to achieve? Do you want to have a happier life? Do you want to be more successful? What is it? Give yourself hope, knowing that you, as being independent, and having the confidence that you will make that change, even if it's small steps. Small steps becomes these big changes. So don't underestimate a small step. And then E stands for empowerment. Like you overcame, you endured the hard work that you went through. You're empowering yourself. You're taking ownership of what you went through. And then D is the last one in the I shed method, and it's the acronym for defeat. You defeated whatever you went through. So yeah, you might still have like open wounds, and be patient with yourself, and know that a lot of these traumatic events that someone goes through takes a lot of time, but just constantly just work on it. Don't like ignore it. Work whatever you can on it, and pretty soon it's gonna close up and it's gonna heal eventually. And if you just focus on the eye shed method and just know who you are and that you are worth it and you're a human being, you can overcome a lot of these things. Just be patient with it yourself, and just you'll look back and you're gonna see just even the smallest changes that you made were growth.
Very well said, Miss Avonley. Beautifully articulated. And as an author, what are your short term and long term goals?
So my short-term goals is I I want to help people. I want to help people, and well, I guess that's more of a long term because it's going to end up becoming a career if it goes that direction. But I really just want to work with people that's been hurt, that's create like a group where there's a place where they can work and talk together and work through their problems, and make it where they don't feel alone, and that there's people out there that's there to help them. And then my small time goal is I wrote this book not only for people that are going through traumatic events and being able to find ways to forgive, but I also wrote this book in hopes that I will find my family back in India. I want to reconnect with them. I want to find my dad and let him know, like, hey, I'm really sorry about what had happened and I forgive you. I want to give him that peace, even though he doesn't want us to find him. I want to do that to him. I want to give him that gift, knowing that he's endured pain, like silent pain. He's took it in, and I'm sure he hasn't talked about it, because most men, they like to hold their feelings inward, and they don't want their problems to project it onto someone else, because that weighs heavy on other people. And so it's just something I want to do, is letting him know that I'm okay, and I just want him to live in peace. And that's one of the goals of why I wrote this book, is I'm hoping that maybe someone in my family might find it and reach out, and we can reconnect.
Good luck to your goals, Miss Avonley, and looking forward for more success. What would be your piece of advice for those people out there want to be an author like you?
A piece of advice I would say is never give up. If you have a goal to write something down, go for it. Don't allow One of the things have noticed is sometimes when you have a strong, inspiring piece, or even like a business ideas, sometimes it's best not to tell people in your family or anybody that might hinder your success, because that a lot of the times that holds you back. And if you strongly feel like you want to write something, go for it. Just do it. You shouldn't allow anybody to hold you back from what you want to do.
Definitely. And thank you for that advice, Miss Avonley. And can you please recommend a book or books that influence your journey?
So okay, I would say the number one book that I would recommend for anyone is the Bible, because the Bible really does change you. It's a book that's alive. It hones onto you. It grips you, and every single time you read new passages, it teaches you something new. Like right now, I am listening to a book, and I've read it a few times, and I'm learning something new. You just never know. But if there's a book that I could recommend besides the Bible, it would be the book The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Page. And that just kind of helps change your mindset. It teaches you how to break habits, and have self-control. It's a good book.
Thank you for that recommended books, Miss Avonley. And before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people, my other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too. Comedy 101 in second season, and Food 101 in fifth season as well. Geography 101 in fourth season, and my baby podcast, Law 101 and Mental Health 101. Love Letters in third season, and Movie 101 Review and Music 101 in third season, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in each first season. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. So, Miss Avonlea, how has writing this book shaped your next chapter for your life?
It gave me the confidence. It gave me like a boost, knowing that I'm going to be helping a lot of people, and just knowing that I'm going to be helping people is what's exciting. Though the writing this book has been very vulnerable, and I'm putting myself out there. It's not. I'm a private person. I've never had Facebook. I've just kind of kept to myself, and here I am, coming out of my comfort zone, because I know that people are hurting and they're aching, and it's it's exciting to get to know people that are sharing their story, and it's been a blessing to know how I was able to help them. So it honestly, it's been a gift, and I'm really excited for that.
Definitely. And what's one thing you wish someone had told you at the start of your healing journey?
I think that no one has the power to give you the happiness, and that the power and the change comes from you. I think if I heard that, and that there was somebody that was out there who cared for you and is encouraging you, I think I would have started healing much quicker in many ways.
Definitely. Miss Avonley Lightstone, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world. So can you please invite our listeners to support your debut book, Strength of Scars? Miss Avonley,
Yes.
can you please invite our listeners to support your book?
Oh, yeah. I'm so sorry.
No worries.
Yes. Um, Please, I would appreciate if anybody who is interested in wanting to find healing or follow my journey to get the books for the scars, you can go to my website, and where you can get my first chapter of the book to know a little bit about what my book is about. If and then I do have social media. You can follow me on TikTok, YouTube, and I think Facebook under at Avonley Lightstone. And you can follow my journey. It would be great to have you part of the Avonley Lightstone community.
Yes, people, let's support Miss Avonley Lightstone, because if you support her, for sure, more and more and more empowering books like this to come. So, Miss Avonley, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Daniel. It's been a pleasure being on your show.
More to come, people. See you soon.
See ya.